Hey everybody, it's me, Chris Day. I'm the managing broker of Worth Clark Realty in the Villages. I am a working broker, so I do list and sell. I actually have about 50 agents that work for me in the community. I've been here for about 20 years, selling at a high level. So on today's video, we're going to cover, can you buy a home long distance, and kind of how the process works.
Point is, long distance can work.
So this video came about because of two buyers that I dealt with very recently. The first one is Rob, and the other one is David. So if you're both watching out there, hey Rob and David. Rob had been to the community previously, and he went back home to Michigan, and like many of us do, started researching what types of homes he wanted to live in, what location he wanted. So he had definitely been here previously. Now, David, on the other hand, is in Massachusetts and knows he wants to live here, and really searching out a ton of information, YouTube videos, the internet, blogs, and so forth. And he's really already drilled down to obviously a price range he wants to be in and a location based on the activities that he's involved in. So buying long distance definitely happens in this market. It probably happens more than any other market I've seen. It's definitely not for everyone. So I'm not saying that you have to do it this way, but it does happen more frequently than you would expect. And I'm going to get into some of the reasons why.
Any particular reason?
So some of the reasons why buying long distance occurs, and this list is definitely not all inclusive, but it's a couple of reasons that I have seen. So first and foremost, the quality of construction of villages is very high. Remember, I've sold 1,000 houses here and seen a ton of home inspections. Really, I try to think long and deep about ones that came up with issues that were just so detrimental. But the only one that really came to my mind was one time I had a home where I had the buyer and we had made an offer and it was accepted, but it was determined that the addition that was built was not permitted. The work was still quality, but there was going to be a headache of re-permitting this area and so forth. So the buyer ended up walking from the deal. But beyond that, it's such a high level quality construction. I would say from what I've seen, home inspectors even struggle to find things wrong. I most commonly see, broken sprinkler heads, windows that don't go up or down easily. That's called balancing rods, maybe a nail popper or two on the roof, a leaky faucet. But it's really normal little things. There's really a high level pride in ownership for villagers that own their homes. So you just don't see big things on home inspections. Other reasons this happens, purchasing long distance, is some of you are pressed for time. Let's say you got the offer that was too good to be true on your home and closing in a very fast time period, or needing to close on something in Florida because of looming tax consequences in other states if you don't close on something here on time. So I definitely see it for that reason as well. And then the third reason, I know the thought is that, there will always be a home for me out there. But some of you have very specific requirements. It may be how the home faces, or needing a pool, or a certain golf course, or wanting to be close to friends or family in the community. You very well may come here and look and just not find the right option. And then the search goes back home with you. So one of the things you can do is you can definitely go to my website, chrisdayhomes.com, and set up a search. And that way, when any new listing that meets your parameters comes out, it can be sent to you automatically. The other way is you can email me at chrisdayhomes@gmail.com and let me know what you're looking for. I can set up a search for you through the MLS, and anytime a listing comes out that meets your needs, you will get that email instantaneously of that home hitting the market. And then from there, we'll talk about if you see something of interest and what you can do.
That's interesting.
So once you've identified a property that you feel will meet your needs, the easiest thing to do is to contact me and then possibly a friend or family member. And then from there, I can set up a showing at the home and we can all meet there. From there, we can communicate with you long distance via FaceTime or the phone, and we can all go through the listing together, and your friends or family can provide feedback to you about the listing. The next way, if you don't have friends or family here, is I'd be glad to do that FaceTime with you. I did this recently for the gentleman, Rob, I was mentioning at the beginning of the video, and I set an appointment and went through the home for about 45 minutes with Rob and his wife, and we looked at everything. I got down on the countertops, looked in the cabinets, looked at the flooring, looked at the ceiling, talked about everything, and gathered the information I could about the listing from there. From there, Rob wanted to take the conversation further, and whenever a seller lists a property, they fill out a seller's disclosures in the state of Florida. There is also a 55 and over housing addendum that would need to be signed. And there is also a CDD disclosure. A CDD stands for Community Development District. It's actually the fastest growing local form of state government in the state of Florida. Over 400 communities have adopted it in the state. But there would be a CDD disclosure letting you know what the remaining bond is on the home and what the amenity fee is and what the yearly portion of the bond amount is on the tax bill. So all of that is disclosed to you as a potential buyer, and I would email over those disclosures.
I emailed you.
So nowadays, even signing something long distance is very easy. There are programs like DocuSign, Form Simplicity, and how I would do that is if you decided to do an offer, we would review the disclosures, and then you would let me know what you wanted to offer. And that would be what the purchase price would be, how much the earnest deposit would be, when you wanted to close. Is there anything additional you're looking for in the listing? So I would send all of that, and you would sign it and send it back, and we would negotiate long distance.
Let the negotiations begin.
So the last item I'm going to cover is what's called a right to a visual inspection. So some of you are very close to coming down or retiring, and you might see a very interesting or unique home that you don't want to miss out on. So same thing, you can negotiate long distance, but you want to add in some verbiage that says you have the right to a visual inspection on or before a certain date. Now, one thing you need to keep in mind is that the seller, if they accept that type of offer, they are removing their home from the market. So from what I've seen, most sellers don't want to take those right to a visual inspections more than, let's say, a week. And that, for many, would be a long period. So same thing, you can negotiate the offer long distance, add in a right to a visual inspection. It gives you the right to get here on or before a certain date, and then ultimately give the thumbs up or the thumbs down if you're moving forward on the property. From my experience, I've seen most of these work out. I do remember a time or two, one specifically, a couple came here and they said, you know what, this didn't quite look like how the pictures or we thought it would be, and they canceled the deal and ended up buying something else. So really that's what the addendum is for, is to protect you, but just keep in mind sellers are not going to want to take them for a month. So hopefully you learned something today for those of you that are looking and combing through my website or Zillow or Realtor.com or whatever other site you're using. But yes, definitely get in touch with me if you see a home of interest. I can definitely do a FaceTime with you and get you additional details. My site, Chris Day Homes, is the best way to search for real estate in the villages. Many of you may not know it now, but you're probably going to be searching for homes in between the 466s or south of 466A. My site is built to search that way. I've also got a lot of good information on there under the Buy a Home tab that is great for new buyers. And definitely watch my other YouTube videos as well. If you liked what you saw or learned something new today, definitely hit that like button or subscribe. I'm trying to put out good content for you that are considering a purchase in the villages. Again, my name is Chris Day. Please look at my website. You can also read testimonials on there from about 250 villagers. I look forward to seeing you around town. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.